What's up guys, Orange Bull here, and welcome back to another episode of Stanley Parable 2, aka the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Now if you guys don't recall what happened in the last video, we went through a whole bunch of different endings I still haven't covered yet, including some endings involving the bucket in it, and let's just say, one of the endings is probably one of the most eerie and bizarre endings I think I have ever gone through. I don't really want to give away any of the specific details on it, and that's the reason why you guys should probably check out the last video to get a better idea as to what happens, but yeah, it's pretty crazy what ends up happening. What I can tell you right now though is that I ended up having to press a bunch of different computer key inputs, and then something happened after doing all that. So again, check out the video if you guys haven't already, but yeah, so for today though, there's still a whole lot of other endings I still haven't covered yet, and after doing a little bit more research, apparently these are all alternate endings that involve playing with the bucket. So it's going to be a lot of very interesting to see what changes are made for them. And you guys know already how crazy some of the endings have gotten with the bucket, but these endings are going to be even more interesting, so I'm really curious to know what's going to happen if you use the bucket with some of these endings. So yeah, let's just hop right in and let's get started. Okay, so right off the bat, I really have to know about one specific ending to see if it got changed. You guys remember about the coward ending where apparently you just stay in your office, you close the door on you find out that you just get trapped in there for a long period of time, not really feeling up to going out of your office and trying to find out any of the mysteries involving your coworkers, and yeah, that's basically just how it ends. But now I want to see if it changes if you bring the bucket in it. Most likely it probably won't, but I really am just so curious to know if something actually does change. And if you guys remember how I ended up getting the heaven ending with the bucket, yeah, it took a couple of attempts to finally get it done, but I'll be back and see if I can be able to access it again.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
So I'm assuming you just have to click?
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Okay, so you are supposed to click it. Ah, there we go. The office door is open. Now let's see if I can... Let's see what happens if I just bring the bucket in with me.
made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
Not likely. Not likely.
As soon as Stanley noticed that the door to his office was still open, he rushed in with his bucket and shut
Oh, it
the door.
does change!
The pressure of going out and finding another bucket variant on one of the Stanley Parable's classic endings was simply too much for him. It's nothing but swapped-out dialogue describing a bucket, he screamed to himself. It's not nearly different enough to be considered a true sequel. No, he would stay right here in his office where things were safe, familiar. If others were happy with the bucket endings, well, good for them.
Yeah.
But Stanley knew that one day, somehow, a true sequel would emerge with actual new content. If only he had waited long enough. Just a little longer, Stanley. Keep waiting. You'll get it one day, surely. Eventually. Just keep waiting. Just a little longer now.
Yeah, sure. You just stay in your office and you wait long enough, and someday that sequel will actually emerge. When in actuality, we kind of already have that sequel. You guys know what I mean. Okay, so that ending does actually get changed with the bucket. I had my doubts, but the ending does get changed. And I know, this is how I started off the last video, but I was so curious to know. It's every other ending, or at least most of the other endings, get changed with the bucket. Surely the coward ending gets changed too with the bucket. But now we know that ending does get changed with the bucket, and it's just involving Stanley being in denial about there being, it's just Stanley being in denial of the fact that, like, if he waits in the office long enough, then surely there'll be another sequel coming out. And it, quite frankly, it seems to me that he just doesn't really like any of the bucket-related endings. Well, screw you, Stanley. Some of us actually enjoy some of those endings. Oh my god, yeah, that was actually worth going through all the trouble for it.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
You know, the more and more times I keep on going through this particular route, especially with the bucket, the more I start to think that, like, there's a difference between speeding your way through normally and speeding your way through with the bucket. You guys have noticed that, like, apparently if you speed through and put in the code, like, automatically before the narrator finishes his dialogue, he'll complain that, oh, I didn't get to finish talking yet, and make you, you know, calm our senses by just playing some new age music. But if you go through using the reassurance bucket, apparently the narrator is okay with this, and he assumes that, oh, the bucket is knowledgeable. He knows the code already by now, and he's guiding Stanley through this. It's interesting attention to detail for the differences like that I really do appreciate, actually, for this. But yeah, just something I just thought about. Alright guys, you know where we are, and I probably should have done this from the beginning. We've already experienced the regular ending with the bucket, but now I have to press the on switch. What is going to change with the, I think it's called the countdown ending, but what changes with it? I have to know, and I think a lot of you guys are curious to know about that too, so let's find out.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
What?
Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and
the
claim
bucket
the
has been
power for
sus this
itself?
whole time!
How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Wait, what?
Birds. Silly birds.
Wait,
The control buttons
what?
became active again.
I didn't fully hear the dialogue. What am I supposed to pick here? Wait. So, instead of a countdown sequence, you just get birds? Wait, what the hell is the choice? What's the difference between this bird and what's the difference between this one? I can't really tell. It's hard to decide. Guess this? Oh, flamingos now.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind
Parakeet.
control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, so looks like we got a better ending out of this after all. It's interesting, we tried to escape the office building, normally with the bucket. The office facility wouldn't let us. We turned the mind control back on, and it turns out it's... Again, I wasn't really fully paying attention to what was just happening, but it seems like either the bucket made it so that we now just watch live streams of silly birds the whole time, or maybe the mind control function was just a facade, and it was just silly bird live streams or videos in general. I guess you can kind of call that a little bit of a better ending. I mean, what's the point of like escaping when you have silly birds to watch videos of now for the rest of your days? That was really interesting. And really funny too. I know I'm sorry if I'm sounding like a broken record, but I was really not expecting any of that at all. And oh, I see.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Well,
what could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This is different. And I think I recognize this location too. Isn't this... I have a hunch that this is the same location where the whiteboard ending is. I don't know how I remember this. Oh, there it is. The whiteboard ending. I found it. What if you take the bucket with you, though?
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
Don't you mean... Ooh, I stopped myself there. I was about to say something I probably shouldn't have said. So this is it, right? Just... Wait, what? Dog mode? Wait a minute. Wait, I think this was an Easter egg in the original Stanley Parable. I don't remember how people managed to do this, but like, now, you guys may have noticed subtly that every time when I clicked, it would make keyboard sounds. Now, it makes dog barking noises. Okay, that's actually really clever. I think I'll keep this on for the rest of the video, or for when they'll make me stop doing this. Alright, so I guess let's move on to the next ending, then. Okay, so this has come to no surprise, but like, in this video I'm probably going to be covering a lot of the endings that we just did, like in the last video, so I'm sorry if this is kind of repeating things a little bit, but these are kind of altered versions of the endings that we just went through, so it's going to be really interesting to see how, I mean it's already been interesting enough just to see how they get changed when you have the bucket with you, but now more than ever, jeez, can't talk, but like now more than ever, I have to know about some of the endings that we've already just done in the last videos. For instance, the cargo lift. One of the endings I did involved me walking onto the cargo lift and then walking back off of it. What's going to change this time with the bucket? Once again, I have to know.
Oh well, look who's got cold feet. Well, from here, it looks like the only way forward is down, since the lift won't be coming back, but that's okay. You've got a bucket.
Yeah.
Did you know that buckets are routinely used as cushioning devices? It's true. You can fall on a bucket from literally any height and survive.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I mean, we did the
I'm
bottom
serious, Stanley. Jump with the bucket. I promise you'll live.
Yes.
I extra double promise that you can land on the bucket and not die.
Alright, I get the point. So can you let me talk here for a second? But yeah, anyway, so I was trying to say that we did technically jump off the catwalk in the mind control facility and we landed on the bottom, presumably landing on the bucket. So if it worked then it could work again here. So let's find out.
Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Okay, so it's just a subtle change. But I do really like the new dialogue that's included for this. Wait, can I? Ah, the dog barking changed back to the clicking sound. That's disappointing. I really thought it was gonna stay. I'm guessing it's just once per playthrough? I'm guessing that's how it works? I don't know, but... Alright, well, that's another ending down. Now I have another one I'm super curious about. Okay, so I kind of just stopped here for a moment because like I had another thought I just wanted to get out. Which is that, you know, every time when I continue to play and get like a specific ending I want to get, the more and more I continue to hear this like new dialogue for every time when you grab the bucket for the first time. It's small details, But I once again really gotta praise the developers for including new stuff like that to make the game more entertaining than how it wasn't. Or it's writing like this that really makes me think that, like, if the game wasn't funny enough already, then you get stuff like that to make it even more hilarious. It's really clever writing. I just have to commend the people who worked on this game. It's just well done. Well done. Alright, well, you guys know what's coming next.
No, said the bucket. Don't
or at
go
least,
to the meeting
I think you guys
room.
might
Go
know what's
somewhere
coming
else.
next.
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Okay, Bucket, can you just shut your mouth for a moment? We will go on the cargo lift all the way up and do the apartment ending again, but not now. Your daddy has plans of his own that he wants to do right now with this plank. And yes, I know what you guys are going to be saying. And, oh, there's the Stanley figurine again. There's it. Go grab it. Go grab it. I will grab it in due time, but not now. Right? So just quit your complaining. I'm trying to go through some other endings. You guys know I'm just like screwing around with you, but seriously. Alright, so we're back here with the vent ending. What's going to change this time with it? Alright, so... Alright, here are the cassette tapes. The narrator's not talking, though, this time, which is very odd. Alright, so I'm guessing just press play on the tape? Wait, but what does it say? I can't really read the tape, but there is something written on there. Okay.
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track.
What is happening?
Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes.
What?
The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes.
Oh my god, what?
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful.
Okay,
because
buddy.
as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get...
What the...
What's that? Who's there? Caporata.
Wait, what? Oh my god. That was unexpected. At first I was gonna say, well, it seems that someone has a bigger obsession over the bucket than Stanley has, but there's now even bigger lore going on here. Lore that I don't think I'll be able to put the pieces together about, but this makes me feel so glad I played the Out of Bounds ending first. I can't even pronounce the name, but if you guys remember what happened with that Out of Bounds ending with the bucket, we went out there and it was revealed the bucket's supposed true origin? Or just what the bucket really is? Or like there's some kind of entity with it? And we ended up, or Stanley ended up like taking out a sword and like murdering it or something? This is so confusing, but really fascinating. Look, that's probably just for ending's sake, but I believe that is leading towards something, and I bet you that there is like something deeper going on with this whole game. I mean, with the person, the settings person coming up with all this like new stuff for like, you know, playing around with us and, you know, being happy with the fact that we're saying the correct time with everything. It's just, oh man, there's just a lot going on here and it's really hard for me to process it. But this just keeps getting more interesting the longer we play. So okay. Yeah, all I could say is that just happened. And this really changes my perspective on the Stanley Parable as a whole. I'm going to try not to think too hard about this right now because, trust me, it's going to give me a headache. So, yeah, let's just move on and let's see what else happens with the other endings. We still haven't done with the bucket yet. Alright, so there's another ending here that I'm so curious about. And no, it is not the apartment ending. My mind is now thinking about the confusion ending. It was already pretty crazy as is, but just now that we have the bucket, what specifically is going to change about it a lot? Like, is it just going to be new dialogue? Or, see, I'm having a my mind is still having a hard time, like, processing that last ending we just went through, so, but, like, yeah, I just really want to know what's going to happen next, so let's go down.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Sorry, narrator, you know the drill by now. We're actually going to be going down the elevator instead. Alright, let's see what is going to happen this time.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
What? The baby from the game's developing ending? The broom closet door? One of the computers? The Stanley Parable adventure line?
Your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here
Wait,
because
is this an
we
intervention?
care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content.
Yeah, I know it is.
We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the adventure line and the broom closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of
And
their
the table from the
favorite
serious
jokes,
ending.
not this
It's here too.
bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the adventure line? We could make the adventure line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Wait, are we seriously going on another adventure? Are we actually going on another adventure with the adventure line? Wow, this is really unexpected. But this must be an intervention. I mean, for how nuts Stanley has gone over with the bucket, it wouldn't surprise me that there'd be a whole quote-unquote group of other people that would be saying that, oh, you've been spending way too much time with the bucket. Yeah, you need to get away from it. But alright, let's see what this is gonna go to. Oh, I thought that was a path that you can actually go down.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where
Raw
it'll go off to
assets.
next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Ancient import. Yes! The classic adventure music!
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
Hell yeah,
Don't you
it
remember
is.
all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
It's
Why
as
would you
classic
reference
now as it
that?
was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Oh, no. No, you can't. You're not implying what I think you're implying, are you? No.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
Oh, no.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Oh, dear God.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
Oh, I
Surely
think
you
it's a
don't
good
need me to
idea.
spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley.
No.
Say goodbye to the bucket.
No, no,
and then
no.
pop it into the machine when
I've
you're
already...
ready.
I've already lost the bucket once. I'm not gonna lose it again. You can't make me.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality
No.
trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer.
No, I don't think I
until
will.
you crush that damn bucket.
Ooh.
Quickly now. The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans
No,
what they want. Hurry and...
Wait. Wait. What's...
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Okay. Yeah, you guys knew I was not going to be destroying the bucket. I've already lost it once. Involving, with the escape pod ending. I was not going to lose it again to some bucket destroyer. But now that I think about it, I'm curious, what happens if I actually do feed it? I hope this is not like another escape pod thing. Alright guys, so I'm back. And now, let's answer the question. If you feed the Bucket Destroyer with the bucket, does anything change? I'm assuming you're probably going to get a replacement bucket, but my curiosity is just piqued. I really want to know.
Such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Alright, here you go.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
What?
I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows.
I'm
That
literally
is its
clicking on the
singular personality
bucket. It just
trait.
keeps on doing
I
some
can
little
hear you
animation with the
saying,
bucket.
how does
What?
a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the
I am
pantheon of
feeding
beloved
the
Stanley
Bucket
Parable
Destroyer. Why is
characters?
it not doing
Well, you see,
anything?
If you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see
It
that its
doesn't
desire
do
to crush
anything.
buckets is so densely loaded with complexity. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed
Well, I'm
it.
sorry if
We
it's getting
can't get
upset,
back
but I
to the
can't do a
classic
damn
Stanley
thing
Parable
about it.
characters Like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
So no matter what, you can't really do anything here. You're supposed to let the bucket destroyer just explode.
Bucket destroyer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, now another ending that I'm really curious about. You all know what happens when we go downstairs. We go insane, we collapse, then we go to another view of this woman named Mariella, and yeah, just it's called the Mariella ending, but I'm just gonna call it the crazy ending, because that's actually what it ends up happening. So, let's go down with the bucket and see what changes with it.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
Is this
his boss would
pretty
think he
much
was
the
crazy.
same?
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms.
Okay.
Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley
The dog
thought.
mode
Usually
still works.
The bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's
Excuse
just a
me?
normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically
The bucket's
grounding
gone.
presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Wha-
Oh, gracious,
Oh.
he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
But it
Bucket!
couldn't be. He rushed forward from room to room, passing
Where are
by
you,
one
Bucket?
after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
No!
Come to
No!
me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to
Bucket!
find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Oh man.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Yep.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
She backflipped all the way. Okay, so I have a loss of words of that one. I mean, at first I thought it was just the normal Mariella ending, but apparently the bucket's inside you? I'm getting some vibes here about that, but I'm having a hard time trying to properly think them through. But, like, that's very bizarre. Just... Okay, the room's repeating, your bucket's inside you. Oh my god. It's just... Yeah, I'm really at a loss of words. That was just really weird. But funny, though. Really funny how they changed up this version of the ending. Lesson learned. Do not leave your home without your bucket. Enough said. Alright guys, so I have decided to do one more ending for this video, and well, it's exactly what the bucket. I'm gonna do exactly what the bucket wanted me to do, and I'm gonna go up on the cargo lift.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Alright, bucket. Alright. Let's see what you want me to do with this.
Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Yeah, because, as we all know, buckets are sentient and they can always talk to you.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Alright.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh, Jesus.
Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
You mean we could live our lives together? Well, that gives me a good reason to pick up the phone, definitely.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend.
Okay.
And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Bucket! So great to see you. Hello, Stanley. You know, I'm gonna use the same voice and narrator for the bucket, so I apologize in advance if it sounds terrible, but hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press O to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
You know, I mean, the narrator's not wrong about that, though. This could be, you know, all in his head, and Stanley has just gone incredibly insane over it. It's exactly what I theorized a while ago, so it does not surprise me. Press T to take me back home with you. You know what? I'm going to stop doing the voice. It's probably doesn't sound that great at all, but, yeah. Press T to take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well?
Who
to
hasn't?
see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Well, this is the reason why you tried to have that intervention to begin with, but look how that ended up going. Press U to go back to work. Okay. This is the repeating cycle we're starting to go.
Anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
He's right, Stanley. Please listen to the narrator. For our sake, please listen. Don't listen to the loud man. Press G for us to go back home.
You see, he's not listening.
No, he's
He's
not.
still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Where's the bucket now? Where's the bucket? Oh, I'm so blind. It's right here. Press Y to ignore anyone in your life except for me. Wow. Yeah, Stanley, you need help. Dude, you just need help.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
It does. But I don't know entirely. It feels so weird to see the entire office slightly dark. It's a new look that I never thought we'd be able to see, but here we are. But yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to say about this when we're done, just like with the original apartment ending, so don't be surprised I may have some new things to add. You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press G to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
There we go. Now we're watching TV together. Yeah, I think this is exactly what I wanted to see. Just me in the bucket, just watching TV together. Press J to relive the same day with me over and over. Wow. Yeah. You can see how kind of sad this is starting to get.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
So the bucket almost sucked in the narrator, and then he kind of just crawled his way back out instantly when he realized how kind of stupid that sounds. Press J to go back. Press J to go home to work, to home to work, to home. Sounds like a... I forgot what you call them, but like it's... That's a bit of a tongue twister.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
So he was going under denial, and now he's basically gone under the bucket's control now. Oh, that just gave me a few ideas of what could be happening here.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give
No.
it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley.
No.
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Close your eyes. Go back to work, Stanley. Okay. Yeah, so that basically just gave me a couple of ideas as to what just happened there. I mean, with the regular apartment ending, I mean, that was just depressing. But this, the bucket version of the ending, it's just like... It's a signal that, like, once you started having some kind of a... it immediately drew to my mind that, like, the second we went into the bedroom, I was thinking, like, oh no, is he actually going through some kind of a romantic relationship with the bucket now? It's just like, when you get to that point, you need help. Badly. You really do need help. And so does the narrator now. It's exactly what I've been saying the whole time. That both the narrator and Stanley have an obsession towards the bucket. And they think that the bucket is alive, it's sentient, and that they'll tell you anything just to believe it. And once you start believing it, you start falling for all of its lies. And you find out that it's just a secret entity of some kind that has some evil deeds it wants to accomplish. And then you murder it. Again, you guys know what I'm talking about from that out of map like ending, but oh my god. Wow, that was that was something. Alright guys, I think that's what I'm gonna call it here. That was really interesting for some of the new endings that we just discovered in this ending. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we actually have like only just like a few more endings that we have to do here involving the bucket. And once again, I know the figure was standing there in plain sight. I probably should have grabbed it, but I think I really am going to save it for another point because I have a feeling about where it might lead us if I pick it up. It's probably going to lead us to an ending of some kind and then probably something else entirely. I'm still not really sure what that thing is going to be, but it's probably going to be really big, and it's probably something I should probably save for like the finale or something. And so I did actually write down like some of the other endings we still haven't done yet with the bucket. We still haven't done like the elevator like ending, and then after that, there's like 2 more original Stanley Parable endings I still have to get through, and then do those endings with the bucket as well to see what changes with that. And then after that, I think we basically have just, I think we're pretty close to actually like finally like finishing this game. So either it'll be like another video or 2, you know, doing all that stuff, and I guess that'll be it. So it's gonna be really crazy to see how this all ends, and more importantly, how this is all really going to end. And you know, just I want to take this time to say I hope you guys have been seriously enjoying the series, because I definitely have been enjoying playing through this game. The original Stanley Parable has always been like a really cleverly written game, and also have a lot of great humor thrown into it as well, with all its meta and like jokes it's been trying to tell. But this new version of the game just adds a whole lot new stuff that I really appreciate, you know, with all the hard work that the people who worked on this game has been doing. I don't know why I'm like giving all my thoughts now about this when I should be saving it like towards like at the end, but like I just wanted to really just, you know, show off just how much I have really been enjoying my time like playing through this game. And I seriously hope you guys have really been enjoying this too. So with that said though, thank you guys so much for watching this video in particular. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. And yeah, so until the next video, take care.